It's nearly a month since Vivacity, which ran Peterborough's libraries and leisure services, ended its contract with the City Council. It's left hundreds of people unsure, we were just mentioning it with Leslie, about whether or not they will have a job. And locals wondering when the Lido and libraries are going to reopen. Vivacity basically says it's working with the City Council to get services started. And the Labour City Councillor, Ed Murphy, says he'll be asking for an update at the next full council meeting. Ed joins us now. Hello, Ed.
Good morning.
Now, we mentioned libraries. Just how damaging do you think it is for the libraries to remain closed?
Most other local authorities have got their libraries open, and they've done it in phases. For example, in Northamptonshire, it's click and collect, and there's really no reason why Peterborough is in breach of its statutory duty and didn't open the libraries on the 4th of July. I know there are talks ongoing now with Vivacity. Those talks have taken a long time to start. Let's accept what's happened and let's get the libraries open next Monday, and then let's get the swimming pools open and let's get the sports facilities open. The theatres will have to wait until government guidance changes.
So you've just said, let's get them open, let's get them open. Isn't that easier said than done, Ed?
Not really. It's a question of people need to have a plan and the council needs to give direction. The law's quite clear. They've got a duty to provide these services. If they're safe, and look at the guidance, I'm not saying put public health at jeopardy, but I'm saying that the open-air swimming pool could be being used for well-being activities and other activities and summer activities. Neem Park are running their summer schemes. The City Council and Vivacity should be running theirs. I think for a couple of weeks there's been a problem of the people actually talking together. Meanwhile, 400 staff are waiting to hear that their jobs will be secure.
You mentioned swimming pools. Have you been to the Lido? Have you seen the state it's in?
The Lido hasn't been prepared for this season. So what was going on? Why weren't the City Council talking to Vivacity earlier on to get it ready? It normally takes 3 weeks to fill up a pool like that, but this is going to take longer. So if we can get it open in August, I suggest that we keep the pool open in September, have a longer season. September is usually warmer than people predict anyway, and when the children are back at school, or those that go back, then other people will be able to use the Lido. It's very, very popular amongst all ages, so I think it has a few more weeks left in it than it normally has in a summer season.
On a general level, Ed, how fearful are you that Peterborough could lose its culture?
Well, we've not been doing very well of late. There's a lot of good things. There's a lot of good things that can be developed from Flag Fen through to our theatres. But the theatres need to work together. The new theatre, the Cresset, and the Key Theatre will need to work together and complement each other. The immediate thing, though, it is ironic in a way. It is Peterborough Reads Year. It is a year of reading, and you can't use the library services in Peterborough. They are very important for people. In my ward in Ravensthorpe, the Breton Library is very, very popular, where Councillor Ellis has his regular surgery, which is allowed to be open. There's a lot more that goes on in a library than a traditional library service, and we can develop those community hubs. Other councils have used the librarians and similar leisure staff in their hubs during the pandemic, or they've put them into track and trace. Unfortunately, our staff, many have been very, very keen to provide public service, have not been able to go to work.
Let's go fast forward, if you like, to this full council meeting. What exactly will you be standing there and asking of the City Council at the end of this month?
So I've got a motion down that notes the situation and says what the council believes should be done, and we should have proper services, and it instructs the council to explore direct provision now if Vivacity cannot carry on, direct provision now, and then to look at establishing a cooperative where the 400 staff and the 500 volunteers can develop our services and improve them in the future. The council does need to pay for these services, and it does need to have a forward plan, so that's what I'm hoping they'll agree at council. Actually, I believe that before then we'll have seen the people will have come together and we will start seeing things opening from next week. And I hope the staff will hear by then that their jobs will be secure, and if Vivacity doesn't carry on, they will be transferred to be employed by the City Council with their terms and conditions of work protected.
Ed, hand on heart, you mentioned the jobs, 400 full-time staff, 500 volunteers, but the actual staff whose livelihoods depend on working within these sectors, hand on heart, do you think there will be any redundancies made or not?
There is no reason why the City Council, if it has a forward plan and work with Vivacity now, can't transfer 90% of those staff. Unfortunately, a number of staff, I've been speaking to staff, I've been speaking to people in the City Council. There's been a lot going on behind the scenes, and I know that they are currently speaking today, which is good news because that hasn't happened, and I know a majority of those jobs will be saved, but many staff have already left.
Wow, that's quite a powerful statement towards the end. If many staff have already left,
Yeah,
just fearing that. Are you saying that they're fearing they won't have a job to go to?
They've been looking for other jobs. They've been getting interviews.
Have you spoken to Vivacity, Ed?
I've spoken to members of staff of Vivacity at a very senior level and operational staff as well on the front line. It's the frontline staff we need to protect.
Thank you very much for your time this morning, and it's an interesting conversation that will continue. That's the Labour City Councillor Ed Murphy asking for an update at the next full council meeting on what is going on as Vivacity hand back control of all of these services to the City Council.